Oh, I should start recording, I suppose. We're going to do a big shout out to Valley Hospital for taking such fabulous care of DJ. They did a new procedure that they call the cold chill.
Which they were one of the first hospitals to ever do it in the country,
Right.
I found out.
What they do is they chill your body to 33 degrees, and it basically puts you in a form of
Celsius.
Yes, 33 degrees Celsius. Sorry, everybody. Not Fahrenheit, not just above freezing.
It's like 94
It's
or
like,
something like that Fahrenheit.
hypothermia. They put
It's called therapeutic hypothermia.
Yeah, it's a very mild form of hypothermia, unless you're a super nerd, and we like to call this cryostasis.
I call it pre-cryogenic stasis.
Yes.
I call it they fucking froze them, okay?
The whole funny thing about, not that anything was funny, but Mama kept telling the nurses, Daniel doesn't like the cold. You don't understand. He doesn't like the cold. He does not like the cold.
And if you notice, they didn't have any kind of blankets on him just to cover his privates because it would warm him up, and they were trying to cool him down.
All I saw was a washcloth.
Me too, baby.
Butt ass.
A big one.
He was butt ass naked under all those chill packs. I got a ball shot once when I was at the hospital with him. He he shifted around, and I got a big hairy ball shot from under his skirt.
So the reason they do the therapeutic hypothermia
is to slow your heart rate down, because if your heart is damaged after a heart attack, which it usually is, they need to slow it down so that it's not working as hard. It's not pumping as hard and as often as it needs to keep everything going. Now, the temperature they take you down to is not dangerous. You're not going to lose a limb. You're not going to have brain damage or anything like that. But it is enough to lower your heart rate to below resting.
Yeah, his heart rate at that time was at 12% at one time.
Yeah.
And they had one of the doctors had come in and I was with Mama and said, don't be alarmed, because they very well could have taken that heart rate after the chill went in.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, so the other aspect of the therapeutic hypothermia is that when the heart does that, it seizes all the blood and the blood stops flowing, and for them to restart the heart makes the blood surge again. So not only does it slow down the heart, it slows down the blood flow. That way it creeps back into the brain as opposed to shocking it when it comes in, like a tidal wave or something. Right, because you can have brain damage.
You can cause an aneurysm.
Well, and Mama's sister had gotten online, and I'm sure your research has showed the same thing, that this procedure now increases your mortality rate by 70%. Now, I'll tell you something. Dr. J, our friend Dr. J, the veterinarian, who was a paramedic before that, I was talking to her through everything. She knows Mama and Daddy over there. And she told me yesterday, after I said that he was home and it's like a miracle, and she said, it is a miracle. I didn't want to tell you guys this, but the normal comeback of something like that is only 30%.
Right.
And she didn't want to tell us that.
Well, this therapy is brand new. This therapeutic hypothermia is brand spanking new. And there are only a very small handful of hospitals in the United States that use it.
Thank God he went to Valley.
And Valley is one of them. In fact, I saw a post by DJ on Facebook that because of the success of his recovery, the PR department has asked him to be a spokesman.
Awesome. He'd be a great one for that.
And one of the things that amazed all of the doctors, all of the cardiologists, all of the nurses, everyone who came through there was the speed of his recovery. I mean, we were all expecting him to be in the hospital at least another week.
And
even the hospital staff,
cardiac rehab and all that kind of stuff.
Even the hospital staff was, because he had to have a stent put in to reopen that artery after it had collapsed, and he went home the same day he had the stent put in.
Mm-hmm.
And most people don't go home that day. They go home a day later, maybe 2 days later. My mom had a stent put in, and she went home 2 days later after she'd been hospitalized for a week. His recovery, he just amazed every doctor, every nurse in there.
And I'm sure a lot of that is because he was in such great health prior to having the heart attack.
His doctors told him that his excellent health is what helped speed his recovery, and also because he's just goddamn stubborn.
Yes, that I will agree with.
Well, and an interesting fact, one of the nurses that I was talking to, I was in there, had gotten there before anybody else one day, and she said that, I was telling her about how active he was and how much he bike red and was a swimmer. And she said the first time they ever did that procedure there at that hospital, it was an avid swimmer and bike rider.
Mm-hmm.
So this was right in their comfort zone to get in there and take care of our friend. So I thought that was interesting.
So I went to see DJ on Wednesday. After I'd had the kids a day and I'd had my own kid to take care of and I'd work and everything, I went in Wednesday night to see him. And they switched him over from propofol to fentanyl, which is a lighter, less heavy, less drowse-inducing sedative. They had to keep him sedated because he kept trying to take his fucking breathing tube out. And they tied him to the bed. Now you know what it's like, DJ. Just saying.
Woo! Might like it.
Give it a swing. So they had to tie him to the bed and they put him on fentanyl. Well, he started to come out of this like drug haze that he was in while I was there. And he was very clearly trying to communicate with us, but he couldn't talk because he had a tube in his throat. So we tried everything. And then I remembered, I have the iPad. So I got out my iPad, my stylus, and I turned on the little doodle app that I have so he could write on it. And the nurses turned around, no, they said, no, don't do that. It's going to stress him out. And I'm like, no, it's stressing him out that he can't communicate with us. If we gave him an option, I think that'd be less stressful. But whatever, nurse. So we put the iPad away. The next day they took his breathing tube out because apparently he was fighting the tube so much because he's trying to breathe on his own. They just said, fuck it, and took the tube out. So they took the breathing tube out. First thing he says is, pay the water bill. The second thing he wants to know is when he can have sex with his wife, because that is our DJ.
Well, and a very interesting thing, too, is I was there another time. I think Mama and DJ's sister was there. And the nurse, his nurse on duty, brought another nurse in. And they said to DJ, tell us what you said when you first came to. And he said, I told Mama she had to pay the water bill. And the nurses started laughing and they said, almost everybody that's gone through this procedure, the freezing, and come out saying, pay this bill, my mortgage is due, where's my checkbook?
Wow.
Exactly.
That
They
is
said it
uncanny.
is so
You know
common that they come out. You know what? Something. There has to be something with short-term memory or showing them they're not losing their short-term memory. And at what point during
the
his
brain
freezing,
is still processing
right?
everything.
I want to know what point during the freezing and unfreezing did that click? Like, oh my God, the water bill's got to be paid.
Right.
You know?
Well, that's one of the last things they were talking about before he had his heart attack.
Exactly.
They were talking about candy and words with friends and the bills that had to get paid. Man, poor Mama, she was so stressed out because he has an account that she doesn't have access to because it's one of his company. He's got
I think it's his unemployment.
Unemployment.
Yeah.
His unemployment account. She doesn't have the PIN number for that because she doesn't need it. Because he gets his payment, he takes the money out. But he had just gotten his payment, hadn't been able to take the money out of the account, and bills were due, and she was pretty stressed out about that. Now, I'm going to make a suggestion here to everybody, and that is to have what we call I call it an ICE, an emergency, in case of emergency, ICE. You have an ICE system, which is all of your passwords, PIN numbers, and everything is in a little notebook somewhere, and it's locked away in your fireproof safe, or in the case of couples, I would get a safe deposit box. You can each have a key to that. Nobody else has access to it. That way, people can go in and especially your social media accounts. Everybody gets their updates on social media accounts.
Oh, that's how I kept up with Mama most of the weekend.
We have a friend who passed away a couple of years ago, and his account is still up because nobody can get in it to turn it
like that
to shut it off. There's your PIN numbers for all of your cards, passwords for your everything. You can't, if you don't know those things, even with your spouse. You need to know those. You should have them written down somewhere, as well as extra copies of your insurance card and an extra identification card. You can hold both a driver's license and a Nevada state issued identification card at the same time. You can request both cards when you go in to renew, and you should. Keep your driver's license on you and put your Nevada state ID card in a safe place. That way you have a valid form of identification in case you leave your driver's license at a testing facility after you've taken your journeyman's electrician's test, which might have happened to DJ. And a spare copy of your insurance card and all of the contact phone numbers. Because what happens if my spouse, for lack of a better term, my partner, my boyfriend, he may not have everybody's phone numbers. If he needs to contact somebody, I got to make sure those phone numbers are in a place he can get to them.
Yeah, that's a good
because
point.
if I'm in a car accident and my phone flies out the window, he's screwed because everything's in my phone.
Right.
So you should have a contact sheet. Put all of that in a safe place in a single location. Don't, we keep this here and we keep that here and we keep this here. And you don't need originals on some things. Simply a photocopy of your insurance card is fine. Keep it all in one location, a lockbox, a file folder, somewhere that you can tell someone my ice kit is here.
Right.
So in
That's
case
a great idea.
In case of an emergency, you have all my stuff.
Great idea. You know,
because I need you to go on and delete my porn history on my phone, on my computer.
Okay, you got it, Mama. I got you covered. Got
Okay.
you out by the back. Another thing, and because I'm such a good Democrat and I'm such a good Detroiter, I want to give a hats off to the EIB, I think it is, the union.
The
The ele-
International
the-
Electricians
Yes.
Brotherhood.
Union. Mama, I helped her we got on the phone, went down to the lobby, called the union. Immediately they said, okay, we're sending out the papers you need to fill out for disability, and we'll have a representative down there in 30 minutes. And
they did.
sure enough, within 30 minutes, the lady from the union who handles all the medical and all the problems was there. She said, don't you worry about anything. We'll take care of it all. And it put Mama at such ease. And I just want to say, Yahoo, I'm a union girl, Yahoo unions. So that was like really a good thing and really put Mama in a good state of mind after that, because it was really tough.
It helps when you have good people. Customer service. What it all comes down to is customer service at that point. And when your customer service is terrible and your bedside manner is terrible, then you're going to get terrible reviews, no matter how good you took care of that person. If you walked in and you were
everybody we see at Valley was awesome, and I happened to be with Mama twice when two different doctors came in.
Every single nurse,
they were awesome.
Every single nurse on that floor called her by her first name. They all knew who she was.
Yep.
Every doctor who came in said, "Hello, Mrs. Sanders." I mean, it just everyone was it. I never once felt like they were treating Charlotte or Daniel like Mama and Daniel like they were.
No, and you know what I noticed
a number
about
on a paper. It felt to me like they really honestly cared. And I've been to hospitals where they didn't give a
like
fucking
in and
shit.
out. Everybody we talked to took so much time to explain every single thing they were doing.
Right.
That nurse that first night went through the whole freeze down procedure, what every line was, and then that doctor
started in the emergency area too.
Oh, because you were down in emergency.
Right,
yeah.
I was down in emergency, and it started there too. They told her step by step exactly what was happening, what this bag was for, and what it was giving him, and what this bag was for, and what it was giving him. So
that's
yeah,
awesome. And then I happened to be around.
Service.
You were there when that one doctor came on Sunday morning,
right?
And he was very took all of our questions. Then there was another doctor when I was there with Mama, and he just took so much time. And then the nurse, the couple, I think it was Thursday night I was there, went through step by step of the whole cath lab procedure, and it was like that's what they do. They just give these presentations on what's going to happen. But it was so nice to be able, and they looked at everybody in the room and said, has anybody got any questions?
For those of you who are just tuning in, this is we're the Curvaceous Bounty of Sin City, back live after taking a week off because a very dear friend of ours,
our
Mama's
family, part of our family.
Mama's husband had a heart attack last Saturday, and we're just talking about the procedures that he's gone through, that he's had to have, the things that we've experienced, Mama's experienced, and that he's been experiencing. And we were giving shout outs to Valley Hospital and the staff there. I want to give a shout out to Daniel's family.
Oh, I was going to say
God.
that. What wonderful people are they?
Dude, they were here in less than 12 hours.
Right.
The heart attack happened. Like, it takes 6 hours to drive from where they're at. In 7.5 hours, they were fucking there.
Right.
And you know what?
They didn't waste any time.
We were all part of that family.
Yeah.
They were just like, they gave hugs right away, and they were, I love that family. I see now why DJ is so family orientated. Right. He was brought up with that.
I believe at one point he had 13 people at his house.
Yeah.
Jessica Vegas and the PLP donated blow-up beds.
Yep.
And it was just wall-to-wall people.
It was great.
It was still, they were packing up, about half of them were packing up to leave when I was over Saturday night. And it was just, there were so many children, and the greatest part about them is they run the rainbow fucking spectrum
It's so
of
rainbow
children.
family. I love it.
And they're all blood children. There's no adopted children in there. They come in supernatural dark. Like light doesn't
11:59?
escape. No. Black hole light doesn't escape from it dark. All the way down to Charlotte and Daniel's youngest, who's this fair-skinned redheaded child.
Yes.
And they are all blood related. They all
I
have
love it.
the same genes.
One of my favorite things, Jackie, his
Jackie
sister.
is awesome.
Yes, Jackie's awesome.
We're like two kindred spirits. We were wearing the same color. She was brave enough to play me on Words with Friends. I love her to death. And the other favorite thing that I had was Mom, Daniel's mom, introduced herself as Mom.
Oh yeah, she said,
I am Mom.
And Dad was Papa. So
well, you know what? When I went to their house at night and I walked in and I hadn't met Dad yet, Mom says, "Oh, this is your other daughter." when I met Pops, so it was fun. It was really fun.
My best part of the night though was Saturday night was we were over and we were visiting. I sent Charlotte a text. Callie guy just got home Thursday night. He needed a day to recover because it's a long ass hot drive with no air conditioning for him. And so Saturday we're like, okay, we're gonna go. So I send Charlotte a text and I say, hey, we're gonna come visit you guys. Is he still in the same bed in ICU? And Charlotte calls me and she goes, just come to the house. And I'm like, what's going on? She goes, just come to the house. She sounded all serious and stuff. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Like, I knew he had his catheter procedure this morning. He had the stent put in. I'm like, fuck, I wonder what's happening. So we get there, walk in, motherfucker sitting on a brand new couch right there in the middle of the living room.
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly. She sent me a picture and I'm like, new furniture and DJ?
I looked right at him. I didn't care there was children in the room. I said, what the fuck are you doing here? But Mom, she's like, she made a fruit salad for
Daniel's
dinner.
mom, right?
And she's walking around. She looks right at Callie guy and she goes, I have some fruit salad. Would you like some? I think there's some mango in it. And
oh no!
we all just started dying laughing.
That's
It was
funny.
she had no idea. It was just
Yeah.
just a complete.
For those of you who don't know,
Hilariousness.
mango is what we call Sierra's lady parts.
My vagina.
Your vajayjay.
My vagina.
Because it's
sweet and
There we
juicy and
go.
it'll get all over your
Oh,
face when you
that's
eat it.
so funny. I walked into the room when they had taken all the tubes out and he could talk. And I said, I'm going to kick your fucking ass. And the nurse started laughing. I go, because you scared the shit out of us. And he got a good laugh out of that one.
When,
because
Yeah, that was hilarious. When I left Wednesday night when I was at the hospital, they had done a shift change, and these were two new nurses who apparently hadn't worked with him yet.
he was
And
flirting.
so-
I knew he was okay.
Well, he was still under. So as I was leaving, I said, "Okay, ladies, you got to take really good care of him. We need him back." And they said, "Oh, we will." And I said, "Because he owes me money." Everybody on the floor started laughing. Some nurse piped up from across the way saying, "I haven't heard that one yet."
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we were all very scared, but we understand that laughter is the best medicine. And
Well,
we
I had to
keep...
tell some nurse off.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I had to give her I went in there one morning. I got there about 9 a.m. and the family hadn't got there yet. And it was still I think it was Monday morning and he was still totally out on the ventilator. I counted 6 machines and 11 bottles. And I walked in there and I started talking to him. I says, hey, Daddy, we're taking care of Mama and the kids are all doing good. They're having fun. I was talking to him like that. And the nurse says to me, he's paralyzed. He can't hear you.
Mm.
And I did one of these. I turned around and I did this.
Excuse me.
And I said, you know what? First of all, it makes us feel a whole lot better to talk to him. And if there's a teeny tiny remote chance that he hears me, I need to let him know that he is loved and his family is taken care
Right.
of. Boy, was she trying to be nice to me for the rest of my visit.
Listen, motherfucker.
And one of the things when Mama and Papa showed up, and they were everybody of course was in this emotional turmoil thing, and I couldn't believe Charlotte was posting on Facebook to keep everybody updated because she has a lot of family
Yeah.
and friends
And
on
they're
Facebook
spread
that want to
out.
know what's going on, and instead of individually, so I can understand that. But they were getting messages. So everybody in the family was posting on Facebook, and they were getting a lot of messages from family who couldn't be there and friends who were giving prayers and support. We're going to talk about the prayers thing here in a little bit. But a couple of people sent messages that they had this happen to them, where they were in a heart attack and in a coma, as it were, because he was out.
Oh, he was out.
He was
He
completely
was out.
He was medically unresponsive. He was not responding
Right.
to any.
They had to paralyze his body to bring the temperature down.
Right.
So he wouldn't feel any
So it was
pain.
at least 24, maybe 36 hours that he was like that. And a lot of the messages that were coming in from the people who have had this procedure, that the thing that they remember the most was the stroking and the talking. Not necessarily exactly what was being said.
Oh my God!
Look at this.
Look who
motherfucker
just
right
walked
here.
into the room.
We're just talking
They
about
cannot keep your
too.
ass down.
I'll tell you what, why don't we go to a break, get
Let's
them
go to
all
a
settled
break.
in, and we'll be back after this.
You look great.